I've already got my weekend plan set. I'll be watching the Big 3. Pretty cool because now it's on CBS, and we're very excited to be joined by Nancy Lieberman and Ice Cube on the program right now. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us, and congrats on season 3 of the Big 3.
Thanks for having us.
All right, question for each of you. Obviously, we get going with the Big 3 in Detroit tomorrow, and we've seen attendance go up each of the first 2 seasons. We've seen the cities expand. We've seen the teams expand. Where do you see this thing going? What is the Big 3 going to look like with this growth in 5 years and 10 years?
I hope it's part of the fabric of American sports. I hope it's a league that people are looking forward to every summer, like they highly anticipate the NFL or the NBA. I think it's a league that can be, a favorite amongst, younger fans. They play a lot of 3-on-3 basketball at school. So, I just think the league can grow and become part of our, summer sports lineup. And, I think it's welcome because a lot of people, if you're not really into baseball, you hibernate between the finals and week 1 of football season. So you don't have to hibernate now. You can come on out of the closet, come on out of the bed, out the cave, and come watch some Big 3 on CBS.
Nancy, you'll be coaching this year in the Big 3, and obviously it has an appeal for you, it has an appeal for folks. Why do you think this is working as well as it is, and why was this for you the right move and something you want to be part of this season?
Well, one of the cool things about the Big 3 is that it's a game for everybody. I mean, if you walked into the arena and you saw the mix of fans, it's a melting pot. It hits everybody from young people to older people. Everybody has an opportunity to see somebody that had an impact in their life if they're, loving sports, and to see Dr. J or George Gervin or Gary Payton or Rick Barry or some of the great coaches, and then the players that excited you, that you pulled for. First of all, you walk in the arena, everybody's accessible. They're taking pictures of players. They're shaking hands. They're signing autographs. They actually care about giving back. And 3-on-3 basketball is the purest form of basketball. We all started playing this way, like Ice Cube was talking about. This is what brought our friends together. And you're seeing friends team up in the Big 3 right now because they're competing for a championship. And it's something that it's just been a love of the game for all of us. And we're just so happy to be in this environment. And we still can play the game at the highest level in a 3-on-3 setting. If you go to a game, you'll go back to a game. If you watch a game on CBS, you'll be hooked for the entire summer.
Speaking of friends joining up and big names, Gilbert Arenas is joining enemies for his first year in the Big 3. He'll be pairing up with Lamar Odom. Ice Cube, when you're reaching out to guys, when folks at the Big 3 are reaching out to guys, what are the conversations like? What is the pitch to people like Gilbert Arenas where you say, you know what, this is a spot for you. Come be a part of this story and this growth.
Well, sometimes it just take a little, you got to be persistent. You got to really be on these guys and, see where their head at. Most time when you first ask them, sometimes they say, nah, I'm good. Then they keep watching. Then you hear them like asking other people what the league is about. And then we'll ask them again. And so we asked Gilbert the first year. I think he was dealing with, some knee issues. And then the second year, I think he started to get in shape and, start thinking about playing. And now this year he's ready. And that's the thing. You got to be ready. You're not going to just walk off the couch and be successful in the Big 3. It's not going to happen. You got to be in basketball shape, and you got to be ready to play. If you watch our games, most of the guys that's playing are dripping with sweat. It's not, you can watch an NBA game and some of them dudes be dry as a bone. They didn't play 48 minutes. But in the Big 3, it's grueling. You drip in sweat. So you gotta bring your game. You gotta be in shape.
the consequence sometimes of success is dealing with people who try to get in the way of that. And some breaking news recently, Dassan Boulay, really nice 3-on-3 player, thought he'd be part of the Big Three. FIBA throws a fit and threatens this player with international ban, which would include the Olympics. Cube, what's your response to FIBA and the news they're not going to let this guy be part of the league?
Well, it makes me sick to my stomach. The fact that, here's a guy who's he's given a lot to FIBA. He's become under their ranking the #1 3-on-3 player in the world. So, of course, when you have a league like the Big Three, which is the best 3-on-3 league in the world, a guy like that is gonna want to show and test his talents against the best. And to be deprived of that, and possibly deprived, making it to the NBA, because you never know who's watching, is just sad. I think, FIBA has been backpedaling, saying that they didn't tell him that, but ultimately he's not going to play in the Big Three, and there's a reason why. We had him signed up, and now he's not going to play. So somebody did something, and if it's FIBA, shame on you.
Nancy, you're familiar, obviously, with that Pelicans organization, and David Griffin, the GM. He's got Zion, made some moves, brings in Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Jackson Hayes. It's a really interesting young team that's shaping up in New Orleans. What do you make of what they're doing in the Big Easy?
It's an exciting time to be a Pelican in New Orleans. They took something that, when you're loyal and one of your players says, hey, I want to go to the next stop of my career, you could crumble and, you could be the victim. And they chose not to be the victim. They chose to be the victor in, getting the #1 pick, then utilizing, the asset that they had in AD and moving him along to Cube's Lakers.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. But look at the assets that they got back. They got young players. They've got draft picks. They took the 4th pick, turned that into 2 more picks. Who knows what will happen with those guys, but they will be on the Summer League roster. And then they have picks in 2020 and 2021. So I believe it worked out best for everybody. This is going to be a young, exciting Pelicans team. And I do think they'll have a chance to make the playoffs next season.
All right, I know you got to run. Last question for you, Ice Cube, before we let both of you go, and appreciate the time. A year ago, I was interviewing you and Gary Payton, was trying to get you to talk about what was going to happen with the Lakers. You didn't take the bait, even though we thought maybe LeBron could be part of the mix, and you just let us know you were going to trust Jeannie Buss. A year later, it's not just LeBron, it's LeBron in the brow. How are you feeling about your Lakers and your owner?
I told you. I told you so. I'm a patient fan. I've been through, not too many droughts, but we went through a 12-year drought between championships. So, this is nothing. This was just, a walk in the park, going, through 6 years of not making the playoffs. Because I have a lot of faith in the Buss family. They've always, brought in the right pieces, whether they worked or not. Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, that was a move. That was a major move that just didn't work. It happened before with Karl Malone and Gary Payton, a major move that just didn't work. So it happens, So I knew that they were working in the right direction to find pieces that really would work.
Congrats on the success of the Big Three. It's an awesome product. It's a great league. We love it. It's awesome that it's part of the CBS Sports family. Ice Cube, Nancy Lieberman, really appreciate you and continued success going forward.
Thanks for having us.